This isn't a ranking of the greatest players. It's a ranking of the highest level any player has ever reached. The season a footballer stopped being elite and started looking like something the game had no answer for. Number 15. Gareth Bale, 2012-2013. By the end of the season, Tottenham weren't a team with a great winger. They were a great winger with a team attached. 21 goals in the league, 26 in all competitions, most of them from outside the box. He took both the PFA and the Football Writers' Awards the same year, voted the best by the people who watched him and the people who had to mark him. They all knew the move: collect the ball, drift in off either side, drop the shoulder, shoot before the angle closed. They set up specifically to stop it, and it changed nothing. 2 years earlier, he had done the same to Maicon at the San Siro until one of the best fullbacks alive simply stopped functioning. Spurs missed the Champions League by a single point. That summer, Real Madrid paid a world record fee to take him, the transfer market agreeing with everyone else. For one season, Gareth Bale looked less like a winger and more like a natural disaster for the opponents. Number 14. David Beckham, 1998-1999. Since the summer of 1998, he had been the most hated man in England. One kick at Diego Simeone, one red card against Argentina, 10 men, a shootout lost, a World Cup gone, and a country that decided all of it was his fault. They burned effigies of him. They abused him at every away ground for that full season. Beckham answered in the only language that ends an argument. By the end of the year, he had been named UEFA's best player in European club football, finished runner-up for both the Ballon d'Or and the FIFA World Player Award, and had a hand, or should we say foot, in close to 30 goals across the campaign. United became the first English club ever to win the treble, and the trophy that completed it, he won out of position. Keane and Scholes were both suspended for the Champions League final, so he played in central midfield. And with United beaten in stoppage time, both goals that broke Bayern came from his corners. The man England had spent a year hating was the one who set it up. The country wanted someone to blame. A year later, Beckham gave them a treble instead. Number 13. Kevin De Bruyne, 2019-2020. Some players scored the goals. De Bruyne decided when they happened and to whom. 20 assists in a single season, equaling a Premier League record that had stood since the Invincibles, 16 years before. City's entire attack ran on his timing. You could watch a full 90 minutes and never once see him short of an idea. The cutback dragged back from the byline to the edge of the box. The pass struck a beat before anyone else had seen the run, bent with the inside of the boot so it arrived already curving away from the defender. The fullback never adjusts in time because the ball is gone before he has finished turning his head. No single moment defines it, and that is the point. It was the relentlessness, the sense that every dangerous ball in every match came from the same pair of feet. Nobody controlled a game's outcome through passing quite like De Bruyne. Number 12. Wayne Rooney, 2009-2010. This was the version that could do all of it. Score, press, fight, hold the ball up, drop deep and create, sometimes inside the same move. Ronaldo had gone to Madrid, and rather than replace the goals, United built the whole attack around Rooney. He scored 34 times that season, 5 headed goals in a row, from a forward who had never been an aerial threat. The tie that defined it was Milan. 2 headers in United's first ever win at the San Siro, then 2 more at Old Trafford, 4 goals across the round. He took both the Players' and the Writers' Player of the Year awards. It was the last season United built around him as the out-and-out striker. Afterwards, he was pulled deeper, into the number 10 role, one step back from the spearhead he was here. That season, Rooney looked capable of doing every job on a football pitch. In the years that followed, United also asked him to. Number 11. Luis Suarez, 2013-14. He missed the first 5 games of the season, a ban carried over for biting an opponent the year before. He still scored 31 league goals in 33 appearances and not one of them a penalty. the only man ever to reach 30 without a single spot kick. 4 in one afternoon against Norwich, a club he tormented so reliably it became a running joke. He took the PFA and the Football Writers' Awards in a season he didn't even start on time. Liverpool, a side with no business being near the title, led the race into the final weeks on the back of him alone and fell 2 points short. For 1 year, Suarez turned every touch inside the penalty area into a threat. Number 10. Thierry Henry, 2003-2004. Arsenal went an entire league season without losing a single game. Henry was the reason it was possible. 30 goals and the European Golden Boot to go with them. The signature came against Liverpool with the unbeaten run under threat. He collected the ball inside his own half, and by the time anyone reacted, it was already in the net. And he was never only a finisher. The season before, he had set up 20 goals for other people, a Premier League assist record that no one has beaten in the 20 years since. A man who led the league for goals 1 year and for creating them the next. A striker who could beat you with the finish, or with the pass that set it up. Number 9. Zinedine Zidane, 2006 World Cup. There are no goal tallies here. Zidane's peak doesn't live on a stats chart. It lived in the way a match bent around him. The clearest case was the 2006 World Cup, at 34, in what everyone knew was the final act of his career. In the quarter-final, he took Brazil apart, a team of Ronaldinho, Ronaldo and Kaká, without ever appearing to move quickly. The best player on the pitch was simply the one nobody could get the ball away from. In the final, in the biggest match the sport stages, he chipped a penalty straight down the middle. The most arrogant finish in football, executed without a flicker. And then he ended his career with a red card in that same final. A headbutt to the chest of a man who had said the wrong thing. He still won the award for the best player of the tournament. The voting had closed before he walked off. Some peaks are measured in goals. Zidane's was measured in the time he always seemed to have when no one else did. Number 8. Virgil van Dijk, 2018-19. Liverpool didn't sign a defender. They paid a world record fee for one and received a deterrent. For an entire Premier League season, he was not dribbled past. Not once. Attackers would run at him, slow, and turn back, because going at Van Dijk had stopped looking like a plan and started looking like a mistake. The threat was over before the tackle, because the tackle rarely had to happen. Liverpool's defence, a punchline 18 months earlier, won the Champions League. He finished runner-up for the Ballon d'Or, the closest a defender had come in over a decade, beaten by Messi by one of the narrowest margins in the award's history. The rare defender whose reputation became part of the defence itself. Number 7. Neymar, 2014-2015. At his peak, nobody knew what he was going to do next, least of all the man marking him. This was the treble year, and the middle of the most destructive front three the modern game has produced. Messi, Suarez and Neymar scored 122 goals between them that season, the most any front three had ever scored in Spain. A record the only attack ever to beat it was the next year's version of themselves. Neymar took almost 40 of them himself, and he saved them for the nights that mattered. He scored past PSG in the quarter-final, past Bayern in the semi, and in the final itself in Berlin against Juventus, with the trophy on the line. The trickster who had spent his whole career humiliating defenders for sport had quietly become one of the most reliable finishers on the continent. For a brief period, football's most dangerous dribbler was also one of its most ruthless finishers.
Number 6. Erling Haaland, 2022-23.
Manchester City paid for a goalscorer and took delivery of something closer to a machine. 52 goals in a debut season in a new country in his first attempt at the league. 36 in the Premier League alone, more than anyone has scored in a season, and he passed the old record in his 31st game. Shearer and Cole, the men who'd held it, had needed 42 match seasons to get there. No one had ever reached 30 goals faster. 5 in one Champions League night against Leipzig and he was substituted before the end, which felt less like mercy for him than for them. Hat-tricks arrived on something like a schedule. The treble followed. Football has produced great goal scorers before. It built statues to men who scored half as often. Few of them have ever looked this automated. Number 5. Ronaldinho, 2005-2006. This is the stretch where football briefly stopped behaving like a sport. He won the Ballon d'Or and was named the best player in the world 2 years running. He won the Champions League. But the numbers were never the point with Ronaldinho. The point was that he made the hardest game on earth look like something he was doing for his own amusement. The no-look pass that became a habit. The elastico at full sprint. The toe poke no goalkeeper could see coming. And then the moment that outlived all of it. November 2005, the Bernabeu, Barcelona winning 3-0. Ronaldinho scoring twice with goals that ended the match as a contest, and Real Madrid's own supporters rising to their feet to applaud the man dismantling their team. Opposing fans do not do that. This time, they felt they had no choice. For a while, football stopped looking difficult whenever Ronaldinho touched the ball. Number 4. Ronaldo Nazario, 1996-1997. Before the knees took it away, there was a single season the people who saw it still struggle to describe. 1 year at Barcelona, at 20 years old. 47 goals in 49 games and the Cup Winners' Cup to go with them. A combination of speed, power and close control the sport had never seen inside one body before, and arguably hasn't seen since. A sprinter's pace welded to a magician's feet, on a frame nobody could knock over or keep up with. The goal they still play is the one against Compostela. He collected the ball near the halfway line, was fouled, stayed on his feet, then went through the entire defense and finished as if none of it had been difficult. Bobby Robson, his manager, leapt off the bench with both hands on his head. A man who had spent 40 years in football, watching something he had no way to explain. Ronaldo was named the best player in the world that year, the youngest ever to win it. Defenders weren't beaten, they were abandoned. Number 3. Lionel Messi, 2014-2015. Messi has scored more goals in other seasons. He was never more complete than this one. The explosive teenager had become something colder and more total. Goals, creation, dribbling, and an authority over a match that only arrives with age. He won the treble. He was the main man of MSN. And inside a few weeks, he produced 2 of the defining images of his career. In the cup final against Athletic Bilbao, he picked the ball up wide on the right and beat 4 men in a space barely big enough for one before finishing. A goal so absurd that Bilbao's manager admitted afterwards there had been nothing his players could do to stop it. Then, in the Champions League semi-final against Bayern, he reduced Jérôme Boateng, one of the best defenders alive, to sitting on the turf before lifting the ball over the goalkeeper as gently as pulling the last Jenga block. Messi had better statistical seasons. He never looked more complete.
Number 2. Cristiano Ronaldo, 2016-2017.
In the league, he was very good. 25 goals, his quietest return in years. In the Champions League knockout rounds, he became something the sport has no real explanation for. The pattern was almost too neat to be true. 2 goals in the entire group stage, then 10 in the knockouts, more than anyone has ever scored in the knockout rounds of a single Champions League season before or since. 5 across the 2 legs against Bayern, 2 of them in extra time. A hat-trick against Atletico in the semi that settled the tie before it had started. 2 more in the final against Juventus, the second his 600th career goal, and enough to make him the first player ever to score in 3 Champions League finals. Real Madrid became the first club in the modern era to defend the trophy because he refused to let them lose it. A league title, a European Cup, the Ballon d'Or to close the year. He scored in finals, in semi-finals, in the rounds that end careers as a matter of routine. When the stakes got higher, Ronaldo somehow became better. Number 1. Lionel Messi, 2011-2012. And then there is the run that broke the measuring system. 73 goals for Barcelona in a single season, a European record. Then 91 across the calendar year of 2012 for club and country. A figure that does not look real, that beat a mark untouched since 1972 and that nobody has approached since. 50 in La Liga in that one season, a record that still stands by itself. 5 in a single Champions League match against Leverkusen, the first time anyone ever had. He was 24, in the middle of a 4-year run of Ballon d'Ors, dribbling through defenses built for the single purpose of stopping him and failing every week. Entire tactical systems existed because of one player, and they did not work. Coaches ran out of ideas, pundits ran out of words, the statistics ran out of comparisons. The frightening part was never that Messi reached this level. The frightening part was that, for a while, it felt normal. Some held this level for the length of a career. Some touched it for a few months and never found the way back. But every one of them reached a version of themselves the rest of the game could only watch. And if one of them is too high, too low, or missing entirely, that's what the comments section is for.